Sharma, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Brand Adam Pierce, and you are locked in to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, bury the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, turn like a muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the band, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got two is what you suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, hold another cup. Let's be busy, 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
I was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit.
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. You are not hearing Lakini's Juice or Goliath by Carnival because we were not defeated by the Storm. That's right. We are back after having a week off, and we finally get to talk about the Australian Wrestling Super Show from Pro Wrestling League. So obviously I am just so excitable. My name is Lachlan Albert. I am joined, as always, by a man who is going to be on the show that we were just talking about, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you doing?
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. We're also joined, and I've got to, this is going a bit weird. We're joined by the man behind WrestleBrania, Jeff Setti. But Jeff, that's not your house.
No, it is not my house. I am talking to you from a hotel room, an undisclosed location in Adelaide. Just been to check out the venue. Lots of people are buzzing about Adelaide Fringe. You want to get into it. You want to grab your tickets. We go tomorrow night with the intriguing matchup of the guy you heard in the opener, Matt Grim Basso, going up against Mickey Fortune. That's going to be a good time. We'll tell you more later.
Yeah, and I heard there's a fun dedication coming up for another one of the WrestleBranias that is coming up this weekend. We'll get to that. We've got to talk about.
We have nothing to do with that, I might add.
I am not surprised.
Before you get started, mate, I just want to just want to make note of something that this past week on the turnbuckle, Lyle from the turnbuckle had his last show. Yeah. So I heard he's going to Turkey for calf implants, something about having to compete with me. I'm not sure about it.
In the arms of the angels.
But we'll find out. We'll find out if the calf implants work. So it's got to help his life. Average.
I caught up with Lyle at Mayhem, and he was extremely touched about the outpouring of people that did send messages and things like that. Lyle, I don't know if you listen to this. We had a chat about not listening to each other's podcasts, but I just want to thank you, mate, because you've been fantastic. And as I said in my message, whenever anyone needs something, Lyle's the kind of bloke that's right there going, "Yep, all right, what do you need? How can I help?" And we need more people like Lyle in the Aussie wrestling industry who's just happy to roll the sleeves up and be a quiet achiever about it all. So thanks, Lyle.
Yeah, also before we get into it, we should make mention of something that happened about a week ago at this point, but obviously we weren't here to make any dedications or anything, but Broderick Shepherd, one of the great Aussie wrestlers who we've, mentioned more than once as Ryan Rollins or as Australian Suicide on the podcast, did pass away about a week ago in Mexico. There's a GoFundMe set up to support having him brought home to lay with his family. So big shout out to Broderick, to Ryro, to Aussie Suicide, whatever you know him as. Unfortunately, I never got to see him in the country. To me, he was always a AAA guy, which amazing for, someone to be able to up and have a career in Mexico, live there, do that full time. That's awesome to hear.
And I'll talk about this more. And I'll talk about this more when we come to reviewing the show. But the Mayhem Pro show on Saturday did some beautiful things for Broderick, and it speaks volumes to how he will be missed, not just by the current generation, but future generations all acknowledge his impact, and his legacy will live on, and we'll miss him.
Absolutely.
He was actually he was actually one of the first guests on our show.
Oh, wow.
I went back into our archives and looked at it, and I'm like, wow, this is terrible. I can't even post it because I was just so terrible. Like I'm listening to it, just going, ugh, no, this is bad. Because this is back when broadcasting was very new, and not even the wrestlers really knew what the deal was with it. So it was just all very. I'm like, oh, terrible. But no, when I first started training in that is when Ryan and Carlo were doing their thing in MCW and in Riot City as well. So I'll never forget hearing, if I hear Lady Gaga, I think of Ryan's entrance.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm the same. And I my heart goes out to someone like Carlo, who was always close to the guy, and they did maintain their friendship, because I know Carlo was extremely upset. And
especially Kellyanne as well. She was very.
And Kellyanne wrote a lovely tribute on her Facebook. And so did a lot of people. Like the outpouring was pretty high. Crackerjack, if you want to see a more lighthearted one, obviously check out Crackerjacks, because it's pretty, it's pretty crackers,
Crackerjack, lighthearted? No, come off it.
Well, it's a more while paying tribute.
So for someone who had such a massive impact on the Australian wrestling scene, obviously that comes through in a lot of performers, and something like the Australian Super Show that happened up here only a few weeks ago. Have I just completely dropped out?
No. Keep going.
You're good. Keep going.
I'm back.
You were back.
No, you were never gone.
There we go. Okay. My thing fell apart. Something like the Australian Super Show, which happened a few weeks ago up here in Queensland, up ahead of AEW. I'm so out of it. Is going to bear the marks of that. So let's talk about that now. A show that obviously we've got to be a bit aware of some biases on, because Todd was there managing in the main event, and my terrible commentary voices over the top of this whole thing. So if you want to watch it for free on YouTube, you can do that. You'll just have to suffer through a bit of the Lachlan Albert voice over the top of it. But it was a stacked show. I think my biggest complaint that was just, it was long. It was a long show because there were 50-something performers or something ridiculous that were getting involved in it. Just an absolutely stacked card that cramming everyone into it took ages. For me being there in person and Todd being on the show, Jeff is going to be doing primarily the review of this one, I think, but I'll be able to touch on what I thought about a lot of it. And let's kick it off with that opener, the Queensland Openweight title and IPW Unified title scramble match. Anth Cather, Bojack Craven, JJ Furno, and Moko Kai all coming for the two titles held by EC Diamond. My concern with when that match got announced was having both titles up for grabs. I think made it a little bit obvious that EC was retaining. I think that there was a feeling going into this show that probably everyone would retain because it was a bit of a showcase. I'm glad that that didn't happen, but having both the titles on the line did make that feel like more of a foregone conclusion, even with the end of the match a little bit scuffed the way it was. Jeff, what did you think of this big scramble match?
It was very entertaining. It was wheel out a bunch of guys and let them all, that are all impressive and are all very good in their own right, and let them get their shit in. Like, let's have fun with this. I enjoyed this match quite a bit. I do agree. The show was way too long. It was almost 3 hours on video. I can only imagine how long it was when you're in that arena. However, like, who do you cut? It's a bit hard to know who to cut. But and there was a dark match as well. But look, I thought this was a terrific match. I really, really like Ant Cava. I think he has become so good, so very, very good as that, Hercules Hernandez body guy, and yet he's got an incredible sense of humor, and he's able to lean into some comedy, as we saw a little bit in this match. Look, everyone was good in this. There was no one who you'd think, oh, they don't belong in there. They're just lifting some weight. But no, everyone was good, and that's up and down across the card, to be honest. I really enjoyed this. I thought that it was a good choice for the opener.
Yeah, definitely. And guys like Bojack, who every time you get a chance to see them, just show up and show out, and you go, how can that person do that? Right? And I think that's largely what this match was. All of those people, the exception might be JJ Furno, who is just such a good rounder. There's nothing he does that is like shocking and explosive. He's just good at everything. And it's a bit the same with EC Diamond, right? Like, they just fit whatever spot they need to fit. Whereas you've got guys like Moko Kai, who are so stupidly quick, and Bojack and Craven, who just do stuff and you go, oh, they can do that? I really enjoyed this match. And following it up, another title match, which there were a lot of on this show. The OPW Women's Tag Team titles on the line, with the champions, the Backslide Girls, coming up against Billy Mack and Eugenie, with the Queenslanders becoming the new champions in a result that was quite shocking to me here, seeing the OPW titles change hands. Obviously, we've spoken about how much we like Eugenie as a champ after she became the MCW Women's Champ. I think her and Billy Mack are a little bit of an odd couple tag team, one that I wasn't expecting. And so that kind of reinforced the Backslide Girls are going to win this, because you've got a bit of a two singles people thrown together on the other side. But the support that was there for Billy Mack and Eugenie, being the hometown wrestlers, Backslide Girls did an excellent job playing the heels here. Right? In PWA, they're a little bit more tweener, and here they were very clearly playing the heels, which I enjoyed.
I think they're like that everywhere else. I think they're heels everywhere but PWA
everywhere but PWA, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the truth. I don't know. I think they need to pick a side. Like, go full heel at PWA, or be baby faces everywhere, because especially at this show, you had a disconnect where there were people from Sydney who clearly went up and were going, hooray, it's the Backslide Girls, we love them a lot, and everyone else is booing them, and they're playing it as heels. So I felt there was a little bit of a disconnect within the narrative and within the crowd reaction to this match.
Look, I'll speak on behalf of, like, I guess, workers, is that we pretty much just do what the bookers ask us to. Like,
I'm not.
We can say just let me finish. No. Just let me finish, Jeff, and then you can get your wrong opinion across. Pretty much when we'll go to like promoters and that, like, well, I primarily work like heel everywhere, and they go, well, I need a babyface for this role. So guess what I am today? Babyface. It's the fact that like Mitch and I work heel pretty much everywhere, but World Series wrestling shows, we're babyfaces.
Right.
The way they want and the way they ask us, yeah. So it was just having to change it up.
And that was something that Andy in the chat mentioned, people cheering the guys from their home state and promotion. Like, even in, later we'll talk about the State of Origin Scramble, where there were people supporting everyone in that match, because there were people from every state there supporting their state. even though really clearly it was a face from Queensland and heels from every other state. Right.
Go ahead, Locke. Sorry.
Yeah, Matt in chat says the venue and production values for the Super Show were top notch on the stream, as much of a showcase of what Aussie wrestling is capable of as the in-ring action was.
Now here I am.
Love that.
It looked fantastic, but here I'm going to interrupt Matt for just a second, and you, Lachlan. Matt commentated the Mayhem show as a trial on Saturday, so make sure you watch that Mayhem show, because I've seen little clips of Matt's commentary, and it's very, very good. No surprise, that was a great fucking show. What are you writing down there, Todd?
No way.
Just making notes. Being critical.
It was a great show. No, I mean, look, it's not. I'm not slamming, anyone in that match. But if crowds, I feel that we pay a price when we go in, and we have a verbal contract. Now, if I watch Todd being a manager live, as much as you're a good friend of mine, we have a contract that I boo the shit out of you, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you would expect me to boo the shit out of you. You would want me to boo the shit out of you. So I think we need to honour that contract.
Yeah, it just it depends. And nowadays it's so hard and so weird with crowds, and you just don't know sometimes. Like, we didn't know. Like, luckily for the main, we knew that Zeke was there, so Zeke would probably get the babyface cheers with Robbie. And we were hoping that they wouldn't just naturally cheer us because we were from Queensland. Luckily, it didn't happen. But there's always that worry, especially at that venue, because every time we've been to that venue, we're babyfaces with World Series.
Especially for Mitch, who's a guy who everyone in Queensland goes, this guy needs to get seen in as many places as possible. He's a great wrestler. We want him to get noticed. And then you put him on a big stage like that in the main event. There's that instinct to go, we love this guy, he's our boy. So it's a good thing that having Zeke there to be the hometown boy and Robbie to be, an international great. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to one of the biggest examples of big meaty men slap and meat that I've seen in a long time. Caveman Ugg defeating Rip Riley. #meat. Jeff?
Oh, I loved it. There was no way I wasn't going to enjoy this. Ugg is fantastic. He's so over. There is an example of a guy who steps into a building and the whole crowd just start going, Ugg, Ugg, Ugg. He's just that over. He's that easy to watch. He is so smooth in the ring. And Rip Riley was the perfect guy to go against him. They clearly enjoyed beating the absolute dog tar out of each other. I love this. I thought this was a terrific match. Rip Riley should be travelling around Australia more. Like, we should see more of someone like Rip Riley. And Ugg is Ugg. Ugg is everywhere. Ugg is, one of the top names in Australia, and deservedly so as well. And this was great. This flew by for me. Terrific match.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw it was 9.5 minutes long. I went, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. They just didn't stop. It's wild.
No.
After this, a 4-way Pro Wrestling League tag team title ladder match. By the way, Andy at Bob Backlund Fridges says this was easily the most approachable match for the lads who you've taken along to the graps that don't know what they're watching. Riley was great. Yeah, Rip Riley is a super underrated dude as far as how good he is in.
And as someone who works in the managerial area of behind the scenes, he is one of the easiest people to work with. He is just anything you want done. Yes, boss, got it. What do you need? I'll do it. I don't care. Cool.
Yeah, that's great.
So easy to work with. He's such a gentle giant, lovable human being. But when he gets out there, you're like, holy shit. So yeah, I love Rip's work. I've loved Rip's work for a long time.
Yeah, the switch from the guy backstage to Rip when he walks through the curtain is insane. Like an absolute teddy bear of a human, and then the monster walks out. Just an awesome dude all round. Anyway, moving on to this Pro Wrestling League Tag Team Championship 4-way ladder match with the team of Strong 94, JJ Avery and Renegade, defending the titles against the Dropouts, Team QWA, and the Ambush, with the Jarvis. I don't know if Jarvis's screaming into my headset came through on commentary there, Jeff, but very unimpressed with our choice for Wrestler of the Year was Jarvis.
It certainly did, Lachlan. I popped big for that. You're just lucky he didn't swear. Normally he'd just go, why the fuck didn't you?
Oh, yeah. He was very well behaved. And yeah, Team QWA managing to come out on top of this one after interference from Wacall's Most Wanted to stop Strong 94 from retaining. How did this one come across, Jeff?
This was great. I mean, with a ladder match like this, you know, everyone was everywhere. You got the feeling that it was all action from all corners of the building. They weren't restricted to the ring. But this was a really, really fun match to watch it and enjoy it and soak it all in. I mean, the Ambush have come along to be one heck of a good tag team. And I say that from the perspective of they were in there with, you know, the Dropouts are improving every time we see them. Sam Cannon and Trent O'Day have been together for a fair while, so have Strong 94, and the Ambush look like they fit in. I thought this was great. They clearly spent some time together during the day, working out some amazing spots. I know it's so stupid, isn't it? But I love the bit where, you know, they can't reach the belts and can't be bothered getting a ladder, so one will go on the other one's shoulder. How silly is that? But it always makes me giggle. It's like one of those silly things that always makes me go, oh, this is stupid, but I like it. It was a great match. So much fun. And well done to everyone in it. Seriously, Scott Green's going to be a star every time I see him. And that music, geez, what a good choice for an entrance theme.
Oh, absolutely. And the crowd so get involved with it. Scott Green, I think, just had his UK debut, if I'm not mistaken. So big congrats there, because that guy's working his ass off. But yeah, my special shout out to this one is JJ Avery, because that kid just looks like a star at such a young age.
Yeah.
Like he is clearly
19.
Got the package. Yeah, he's a baby. He's really putting it together too. Character-wise, I think, was his struggle, and he's starting to really put that into place. Dropouts are a delight. Obviously, we can talk about how good the Ambush are all day, but I was really impressed with Team QWA here. Again, we've always said QWA are one of the most underrated rosters in the country. Richard Palmer in chat says Dropouts are so over everywhere they go. It was so good to see them do well in Queensland for that show. Yeah, absolutely. And Alex Fireheart said, as a North Queenslander, that they expected to cheer for Team QWA winning, but instead just clapped and laughed maniacally. So that was an interesting reaction. And G chat says Strong 94 were robbed, but apparently Osprey loved Avery, so that's good. I've heard those rumors as well. So
can we just say how bright the future is in Australia right now? My goodness! Oh, yeah. I mean, spending the evening on Saturday, as I mentioned, at Mayhem. Write it down, Todd. It just illustrates how bright and how wonderful the next crop is and the next 5 to 10 years looks in this country. I did bump into a friend of yours at Mayhem on he wasn't wrestling. He was just asking where you were. It was Edward Dust, by the way, Lachlan. He was asking if you were around for some reason.
No, I'm not around if he asks, by the way. I just got a message saying that apparently Renegade was really good in that match. A message coming from someone named Toby, so I'm not sure what's going on. I thought Renegade.
Renee Garde. Yeah, Renegade was very good in that match. But everyone was, Toby. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed this match. I love whenever Team QWA gets a chance to show off that we did some interviews before the show, which obviously we put some of them up during a break a couple of weeks ago. They're on the YouTube channel. That one with Trent O'Day is bloody fantastic. That dude is such a good talker. And I'm hoping that I get a chance to talk to him this weekend again and maybe get some more on film, because there is a rematch coming up on Saturday with Team QWA defending those belts against Strong 94 and Wacall's Most Wanted. So big shout out there. But after that was another multi-man.
What looks like the candy's got the cream? What's going on, Todd? What's going on?
It's because, well, Trent and I have a nice little thing going on between each other, and you just I can't wait to see moron. I'm like, yeah, moron.
Oh man.
I brought my medicine to Adelaide, if you can't tell. Anyway, keep going.
I'm not going to tell my favourite Trano Day story. That'll have to be an off-air one. After this match was another big multi-man catastrophe with the State of Origin Scramble match. This one had Bobby Bishop for Queensland, Dean Brady for South Australia, Jack Bonza accompanied by Digby for New South Wales, Michael Morleone for Western Australia, and Lockie Hendricks for Melbourne. This one looked like it was all tied up for Bobby Bishop to get the Queensland win when there comes the Devil's Double, Jesse Daniels, to interfere, much like the previous match, setting up a match for this Saturday at Pro Wrestling League. Very interesting. And this one ended up getting tied up by Lockie Hendricks and getting a Melbourne victory. Jeff, how was the Scramble match?
It was a lot of fun. It was it was almost overkill after the last one on the stream, but that's probably, there was a break. Obviously, you had the break between these two matches, but it was like having the two of them back to back was almost overkill in insanity. Said, with all due respect, but where else would you put it? It's a tough one to place. But these guys are all so bloody good at what they do. You know, the fact that Morleone rarely leaves WA but did for this match speaks volumes on not only his competitors but also himself, that he chose to be there for this. They all looked incredible. They all played their roles brilliantly. Dean Brady was warming up to be on WrestleBrania on Saturday against Matt Hayter. Look, there was a lot in this to like. You know, this match had so much in it. And I really, really like it when Lockie wins matches. Lockie wins a lot of matches, and he always makes his opponents look good.
I must admit, I did pop for the fact that he insisted on being introduced as one half of
Alex Fireheart in the chat saying.
Sorry, what was that, Todd? You missed that?
I said it popped me that he'd Michael Morleone insisted on being introduced as one half of Wrestle Radio Australia's Tag Team of the Year.
Isn't that great?
On these entrants.
Like the Don getting us over as well as getting himself over. It's brilliant.
Alex Fireheart in the chat saying Michael Morleone is someone I've been aware of vaguely for ages. So it was nice to see him live. Also, given his look in my head, I've started referring to him as Don Malenko. And he had the "Is Don Is Good" shirts that he was selling, and he was an absolute star. An absolute delight of a human too, just by the way. But this match, it's hard to pick out someone and say that they were exceptionally good, because all five of the dudes were insanely talented, and you could see just how good they are. Just really excellent stuff. After this was the Renegades of Wrestling women's title three-way match. Lena Cross and Lil Mars unable to take that title away from Aisha, but maybe the most exciting moment came after the match when Aisha got on the mic, declared that no one could challenge her, and on the screen we got her next challenger for the Renegades of Wrestling women's title. The match has now happened, but that was, of course, Indy coming back from the US to challenge Aisha. What did you think of the match for this one, Jeff?
I like this a lot. All three of them are great. I mean, Lena Cross is so very good. Lena is just so very, very good at what she does. Aisha gets better match by match. Like, she's getting better every single match that she's in. Each match she gets better and better and better. And Lil Mars is a really good up-and-comer. It must have been a great experience for Lil Mars to kind of get some sit under, if you like, the learning tree. I really liked this match. I think the pacing was lovely. I think the ending was great. Like, Aisha snuck the victory in like a true heel. She's just so good. She's just so good. She's great. The ring gear looked amazing. I hadn't seen the black before, but it looks fantastic and suits her personality. And she's first class. You know, she calls herself first class. She is first class Asia.
I think Aisha's another one of those people who we get to talk about how good she is all the time, but it just doesn't seem to come across that she is truly fantastic. Like every time she is wrestling, she puts on a clinic. It's excellent stuff. And I actually said to Lena after this show that I think Lena might be just my favorite wrestler now. She's one of those people where no matter what the card is, if I see her name is in a match, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for that match now. And then it's something that I talk about after the show. She always delivers. I think Lil Mars was a perfect babyface to have in here. Aisha, that sneaky retention, like you said. Lena Cross, she always looks like she has shown up out of WWE or AEW to this show. Like she is always presenting herself as absolute star. She is physically giant. Her in-ring skill is completely on point. Andy says exactly, this match was really, really good live with a couple of edits. This match is great on the stream. And Alex Fireheart says, Lil Mars was the only one I had no prior knowledge of, but she definitely didn't feel Aisha and Lena. I thought this match was an absolute treat and a real highlight of a show stacked with great matches. Speaking of highlights, you want to talk about highlights of wrestling from around Australia? The Champions versus All-Stars 10-man tag team match. We had the All-Stars of Edward Dusk, Emin Osman, Jesse Love, Matt Hayter, and Yeet Stevens, accompanied by Jazzy, against the Champions team of Jake Taylor, Levi Nixon, Ricky Utomi, 13, and Zach Sabbath, accompanied by Riker. And having Jazzy storm Riker out of the match early on, I thought was a great way to keep a 10-person down to 10 rather than 12, because boy, that's a lot of big names in one match. I really enjoyed seeing just how stacked both of these teams were, and some of the guys who were maybe a little bit less known going into this match. I think of guys like Jesse Love and 13 from UPW up here in Queensland felt like they were supposed to be there, which I think is really excellent in this kind of match. Jeff, what did you think?
I liked it. It was around here that I started going, this show is going very, very, very long, to be honest. Just like complete disclosure, I like this match a lot, but I think they could have trimmed maybe 3 or 4 minutes off it to really, it was action all the way, but just giving it a bit of breath. It felt like it was unrelenting. Like, say what you will about WWE's commercials, but like in the middle of pay-per-views, but it lets you take a breath. It lets you go and breathe and relax. But in isolation, this was a great match. Like, I have such good things to say about Ricky Utomi and Zach Sabbath and Levi Nixon. Like, what a great team. Jesse Love is a very handsome man. He really is. He is such a handsome man. Just a good-looking unit. I enjoyed the comedy aspects. Hayter just brings the comedy all the time, as he will at WrestleBrania on Saturday, going up against Dean Brady. But this had such fun elements to it, and there was great chemistry shown. I thought this was terrific, but as I said, by this point I was going, okay, this is a long show. You know, and I think I watched the match while I watched the show, and then I went back and watched this one on the main event again, because by this point I was exhausted. and I was glad I did, because they were both great matches, but as a package I was getting very, very tired. But yeah, great match, a lot of fun, and the work with Jazzy and Riker was nice.
Yeah, I did the count, and I think if you include the interferences, it comes out to 51 people who were involved in matches. That's just wrestlers and managers, 51 of them. So, like, obviously everyone wanted to, get their name out there and be on this show, but it does lead to a lot of stuff. So I think maybe when you're watching this free on YouTube, after that ladder match is a good opportunity to take a break and break it up so that you don't feel just the length of this show, because it's sounding like, Jeff, that second watch you had without that exhaustion really made the match come through a bit.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I was always going to rewatch the Robbie match because I knew it was good, but I was just so tired by the point it came on. Sorry, Todd, you were going to say.
We were all backstage by 10:40. So, and it started at 7:30, I think. So just over 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's. Do you know what though? I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it's that, or if I don't know if it's a lot of the people up there weren't used to the heat. Like crowd wise, could have done it for them.
But by this point, the crowd were noticeably quieter than earlier in the evening. And again, it's probably flight fatigue. It's probably heat, as you've mentioned, Todd, and it's probably the fact that the show had gone on for quite some time. But some guy got on the microphone before the main event and got him back in the room quite nicely. Well done, Lachlan. You did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. My commentary just absolutely nailed it. The soul of PWL. By the way, we should mention as well that Champions versus All Stars match. Emin Osman's last match in Australia for a little while. So nice to see him get a little bit of love from everyone there, as well as that. I think Alex Fireheart mentioned in the chat. Also, really glad it ultimately came down to Yeet and Ricky, which is probably the program we're seeing going forward in Pro Wrestling League, although Ricky has been removed from the show this Saturday, so we'll see what happens there. And Alex Fireheart also says, I didn't realize how physically imposing 13 was until that show. Jesus, wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley. Yeah, I think he's an absolute unit, and him being on MCW this weekend, he's going to get a chance to show off just how big and mean of a fella he is. So that'll be very interesting. But the main event, soul of PWA title on the line, as it was challenged by a Toad Deistman. And this Deistman fellow...
Why you got to do that? Why you got to do that? Why? Do I ever admonish you for your lackluster commentary skills? No, I don't. I'm always nice.
You do quite
Todd,
often.
You are doing this.
Todd, I've got your back. I called him PWA's Mike Adamley. So I've got your back, buddy. Don't worry about it.
So Todd challenging Robbie Eagles to put that PWA title on the line. This triple Robbie Eagles, Mitch Ryder, and Zeke Andino. Robbie managing to come out on top, retain that soul of PWA title. And here we go. Matt in the chat says, America had the weasel, we have the toad. But
the game toad.
No respect. No respect.
Will you stop? The Robbie Eagles, after this match, giving a wonderful little speech about what it means to be here wrestling in Australia. Jeff, what did you think of the main?
Again, like when I watched it in one go, I was exhausted by this point. When I watched this match in isolation, and Todd, well done on that short promo. It did get everyone back in the room. Props for that. Or Toad, whichever you prefer. I thought this was beautiful. Like, you watch matches and you go, yeah, this missed and this, nothing missed. Everything was on point. All three guys and four guys, including you, Toad, worked your asses off. You really absolutely did.
If you want me to start calling you by your full name, you'll keep doing that.
Sorry, sir. No, in all seriousness, this was great. All four guys played their roles perfectly. It was the very definition of a match that was smooth. It just had this lovely, smooth feature about it. And, you know, Robbie Eagles doesn't wrestle bad matches. We know this. We've seen it for the past 10 plus years. The guy is an absolute bloody legend, and we're lucky that he visits Australia as much as he does, and he works here as much as he does. Mitch Ryder, like, in all seriousness, why is he still just in Queensland? He should be all over this country, and he should take his manager with him. And I'm being serious, Todd. I don't often compliment you, but I will now, mate. You should go with him, because as a package, you guys are great. You guys are something else. And Zeke Andino has the reputation he's got, and with good reason. This was a terrific main event. While the result of this match particularly was never in doubt, I was never not engaged in this, and I was constantly entertained.
Now I know who GV is.
Yeah.
And you better shut up.
Sorry for that.
Sorry.
Apologies to Todd Berg there. This main event was really spectacular. I had tried my very best to save some voice through this show, knowing that was going to send me over the edge, and I just about died commentating it, because you can hear, if you watch it, it's just me marking out the whole time. Like, the idea that I'm not fully into it just leaves my head, and I'm just banging on the table and screaming, because this is the type of pro wrestling I love.
It sounded like you were having the absolute bloody time of your life, mate. It really, actually, I'll be fair, it looked like you were both having a ball. It looked like you were both having the best time. And even though, Todd, you were doing the manager shtick of being, I want my man to win and blah, 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 as you should, because you're a complete pro, I thought that there were glimpses there where I could see you come through going, this is fucking great. You could see behind the manager face, you could see your enthusiasm for it. And Lachlan, you're a competent announcer. Well done. I thought this was great. I thought the whole presentation was fantastic. But as I said, I don't know where you trim it, but boy, was it long.
Yeah. And it's the kind of show that's always going to be long, right?
Yeah. But before we go any further, I just want to shout out like Pro Wrestling League and also Renegades Wrestling, because a lot of the times when you've got these big shows, the managers always get left out of these big shows, because it's always like we'll put on like Jesse, and we'll put like Jesse Love, we'll put on like Jack Bonds, we'll put on like Ricky Otami, but the managers just, you guys stay home, you're not a part of this. Whereas they like Pro Wrestling League sort of like, well, that's part of your gimmick, it's part of your character. You're on the show. You should be on the show and part of that act, which is, it's one of those things that unfortunately happens a lot to managers. And I say that as being someone who's been in it for 14 years. So like I'm kind of used to it, but it's very nice when you get that thing from the promotions going, no, you come along too because you want. Yeah, it was lovely to see that you were, as I said, it was lovely to see you at work, because sometimes I hear you on commentary more sometimes than I see you down there working, and it was really nice to see you work. And I was watching it at home, and my neighbour said what was I yelling? And I was yelling, boo that man, boo him more, boo him. Because I was so enjoying it. And there were definitely a couple of shots. There were a couple of shots of you where you were definitely going, hey, this is all right. It didn't slip, but as a good friend of yours, I know when you're going, I'm having fun. One of the funniest things for me is like after I'd gotten punched by Zeke, I'm on the ground and I'm selling, and I can hear someone just giving it to me, like hardcore giving it. I hate you, Todd. I hate you, Todd. I looked up, and it was the Channel 7 reporter who I got free tickets to the show.
Nice. See, I've always believed, no matter what, we have a contract, as I mentioned, with wrestlers. Now, it doesn't matter how well you know wrestlers. Your job when you walk in the door is to boo the ones that are supposed to be booed. Don't be the smart ass going, oh, hooray. No, boo them. Do it. It's part of the fun. Michael Lee asks, hey, Todd. Hello, Michael Lee from Facebook. Hey, Todd, besides South Australia, have you ever managed interstate with top tier or other clients?
Once. Believe it or not, once. With Chris Basso and Matt, we did a Ballarat Pro show.
Oh, nice.
And we worked against Mad Dog and Cremator.
Yeah, Brad. Yeah.
There you go.
Which was
there you go.
Anyway, it was the second match on the card, and I think Mad Dog wanted to punch a chair into my face. And I think Chris was just like, it's the second match on the card. Maybe not.
Yeah, Bloody DJ says what we try not to admit too much. Todd is so good at being a heel manager. We absolutely hate you. Yeah, it's again, it's hard to say when he's here and reacting to it. But man, Todd knows what the fuck he's doing when it comes to that.
I have a question.
He just nails it.
I have a question for you, Todd. A wrestler once told me that, and who often worked heel, and a great heel. They said to me, it doesn't matter how many people are booing you. If there is one person in that arena cheering you, that's the person you hear. Is that true?
It can be. I don't get that a lot.
Good. That means you're fucking great at your job.
I don't really get. I pretty much like especially that match, because I'm pretty sure the microphone wouldn't have picked it up. But there was just one woman for the whole match just yelling, "Fuck you, Todd! Fuck you, Todd! Fuck you, Todd!"
Oh, great. Great.
Just on repeat. I think it's because I called the kid a ginge. I was like, "Sit down, you chubby ginge," or something like that. And I think that's when she lost it and decided that's it. She was gonna go at me for the rest of the thing.
Far from the worst thing Todd has called an audience member.
Exactly. Well, that's a PG show.
I mean, he calls you a ginge every week, Lachlan. What are you talking about?
I don't even have red hair. And Bloody DJ says new chant for Wide Bay. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, overall, what's the overall thoughts, Jeff, other than long? I think this show pretty much hit all the marks, right?
Oh, this show was terrific. Like, there was no doubt that this show was great. Like, and everyone in it played their roles perfectly, including yourselves, including both of you. In all honesty, your voice was definitely going by the end. By the way, Lachlan, but with good reason. Aside from long, a great show. Every match was fantastic. Do not miss this. You can see this for free on YouTube. Yeah, I like that they weren't afraid to put heels over as well. And I also like that there was no, 30-man battle royal or 30-man Royal Rumble match to pad it out. But saying that, it was very, very long.
Andy from Bob Blackland Fridges in chat says, 2 of my mates came to their first wrestling show last month. They're both taking their kids to PWL this weekend. That's a success. Absolutely could not be more correct. And if you are in Queensland this weekend, you can see everything that followed on from this Pro Wrestling League Renegades of Wrestling show on Saturday night. We'll talk about that in a moment. But again, if you are going to, whether or not you're going on Saturday night, if you want to see the Super Show, if you want to break it up into 2 parts, absolutely do it. Head on over to YouTube, search for Pro Wrestling League. You'll find it straight away. It's up there for free. You can just sit down and watch it. It's insane to me that there can be a show of this kind of quality with the level of talent on the show. And again, you just go to YouTube and pump it in and it's there for free. Absolutely unbelievable.
I think too, and I know both saying it sounds like I'm talking myself up because I'm part of I think that show was as true a representation of Australian wrestling as there has been. Like all around Australian wrestling.
Agreed. I also want to shout out Mikey J's editing. He did a fantastic job putting this one together. So well done, Mikey.
Yeah, an absolute king. Mr. Michael J. Matt Huswaite in chat asking any mail on if a similar Super Show is in the works for Perth this October. I know there was one around Elimination Chamber, but PWL and ROW have set the bar.
I think it's going to be hard because of that they're doing a SmackDown, the pay-per-view, and a Raw.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to get in somewhere. I mean, I'm sure they could, but it may be a matinee show. I don't know. I just don't know. We don't even know what date yet. So it's like it's really hard to. I would suggest they would try, but
not to poo-poo you, Matt, but we don't even know if it's October. Like, October's heavily speculated, but there's been no firm announcement on exactly when it is from anyone. And believe me, I've asked a few people and no one's heard anything or anything they can tell me. Not that they would.
Exactly. Let's speak about what's coming up around the country this Saturday, because there's
Sorry, Lachlan. You just went, let's speak, and said nothing for about 8 seconds. It was great.
Oh, loving my tech. Hey, at least I'm here, right? Camera or not, I'm here. All right, MCW Anniversary is sold out this Saturday on March 15th. But you're going to be able to watch it online. So let's talk about what's been announced so far. You got a 6-man scramble match with Kobe Reed, Lucky O'Leary, 13, Anth Cava, Owen Stedman, and Clydesdale. We just spoke about guys like 13 and Anth Cava, and you add in our young up-and-comer favorite Owen Stedman to that. That's going to be one to watch. There's a tag team tournament match with Tome and Stevie Philippe versus Ryan Rapid and Mitch Waterman. Call it H2O 2.0 there. That's going to be a banger. We've got Erica Reed going one-on-one with Shay Cassidy. Rocky Monero up against Jarvis. The Intercommonwealth Championship on the line between Robbie Thorpe and Adam Brooks. And the MCW World Championship Triple Threat, Edward Dusk, Caveman Ugg, and Ricky South. If you haven't seen Edward Dusk's series of promos leading into this one, get onto it, because hooly dooly that man can talk.
And there is another one, because the physicals have been wild carded. They're in the wild card match for the MCW Tag Team Tournament. I don't know if that's going to be their dark match or if that's going to be their match, but I managed to sit down with the physicals, and we'll be showing that tonight, I think. And they actually talk about that just a little bit, and they're very excited about it. So make sure you check the physicals out, because they are such a hoot to watch. Can't buy their T-shirts though.
Ask Todd about it. Ask Todd whether the physicals are worth watching. That's not the only show that's going to be on in Australian wrestling this weekend. Once again, a special thanks to the legend that is Michael Lee in the Australian Wrestling Community Facebook page, who puts these together every week. But in New South Wales, we've got IWA International Wrestling Australia's Hostile Territory tomorrow night, Friday, March 14th. Then on Saturday, March 15th in New South Wales, there's either Rock and Roll Wrestling's We Built This City or Australian Wrestling Superstars, both taking place on Saturday, March 15th. In South Australia, Pro Wrestling South Australia's March Madness is on Saturday, March 15th. And also on Saturday, March 15th, if you're in Victoria, is PCW's Unrivaled, as well as that show we were just talking about, MCW Anniversary with the stacked card. Meanwhile, up here in Queensland, Pro Wrestling League is putting on their annual Purge event with the Purge Cyber Night, which involved a little bit of fan voting on what would happen for some of the matches. If you've never heard of the Purge before, PWL does an annual show with a multi-man rumble where the competitors can each bring a weapon. This year, that's going to be a 30-person rumble with the prize on the line being EC Diamond's Openweight Championship. So that's going to be really exciting, as well as Bobby Bishop and Jesse Daniels in an I Quit match. The PWL Tag Team Championship Triple Threat with Team QWA defending against Strong 94 and Wacol's Most Wanted. The OPW Women's Tag Team titles on the line with Eugenie and Billy Mack defending against Kyla Knight and Christina Cade. And a really, really big match where Mitch Ryder is going to take on Robbie Eagles. And if Robbie wins, Mitch and Todd have to retire from Pro Wrestling League. But if Mitch manages to win, Mitch McCarthy's stake in Pro Wrestling League will be given to, look, I guess theoretically Mitch, but really Todd will be the new owner of Pro Wrestling League there. So
we're thinking about renaming it Eastman Championship Wrestling. Something about ECW. I don't know.
Has ECW been used before? Is that one taken?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's fresh.
Can I do one more? Just one more. Can I just one more of the name you told me to stop calling you?
It depends.
I mean,
do you want me to say your name?
I'll refrain.
So the point, if Todd would stop taking over, is get along to some Aussie pro wrestling this weekend. Basically anywhere in the country there is an absolutely stellar show on. We've had Aussie Legend 146 in the chat asking, will we be able to watch The Purge on YouTube? Much like the Super Show, it will not be available straight away, but you will be able to catch it for free on YouTube. Just follow, if you go to the Super Show, which is going to be linked in the description, you can go to that. Just hit subscribe on the Pro Wrestling League YouTube channel, and you can get all the Pro Wrestling League shows free on YouTube. Unreal stuff. Look, it has been a big week in wrestling, a big 2 weeks since we've been on, including some little Aussie stuff that has snuck its way onto the international wrestling side of things that we'll get to talk about. So if you want to hear about that, make sure you stick around because we'll be talking about it right after this.
You know what? I didn't even... All right.
He was clearly going to break.
He was when I was just off on the ferries, mate. I was like... all right, we got a couple of ads here, and we've also got the interview, or one of the interviews that Jeff did at Mayhem Mania with the physicals, and we'll be back after about 9 minutes or so. So
great.
Stick around and watch the stuff because it's a really good interview with physicals, and so we'll be right back after this.
WrestleBrania will debut for the 2025 Adelaide Fringe Festival at Arthur's Art Bar, and we are extra excited to announce that we'll be partnering with Riot City Wrestling. We've got 4 big shows, 4 different lineups with comedians from the festival and wrestlers from Riot City. On Friday the 14th, we have Grim Basso versus Mickey Fortune. Saturday the 15th, Dean Brady takes on a surprise opponent. On Sunday the 16th of March, we have Mr. Cliff versus Banjo Powers. And on Monday the 17th of March, our final show, Richard Guda will take on Down Under. WrestleBrania for the 2025 Adelaide Fringe Festival at Arthur's Art Bar. What are you doing already? Get your ass there, buddy!
Mitch McCarthy, man, I've got to hand it to you, man. Like Robbie Eagles, what a pick.
What I get.
I was looking on the internet, and all these internet nerds were saying, well, Robbie's not coming back to Queensland anymore. So I just thought he was out of the.
He's done. He's back to Japan.
But what you've inadvertently done, mate, is given us exactly what we wanted. Because all we want around here is some respect. And we've never gotten it before, but after this man beats Robbie Eagles, we're going to get some respect, son.
Robbie, the Limb Reaper, you're the GOAT, mate. You're the best in Australian professional wrestling. And like Todd said, that's exactly what we've been looking for. We've been looking for a test one-on-one. And that's what this is. It's one-on-one. There's no Zeke this time. It's One-Shot Rider, and it's the Limb Reaper. And sure, you may have had me tapping in one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire career in front of my friends, family, my city. This time you're coming back to my city, one-on-one. And I only need one shot to pin the gatekeeper's shoulders to the mat for 1, 2, 3. You good?
Yeah, you good?
You good?
You good? Yeah, thanks. That's,
cool.
Yeah, no, cool. So I need to have a chat.
Yeah. What's up?
Now, I'm going to be there, ringside,
Of course.
like always.
Always.
I'm not going to help you.
How do you mean?
You know, a normal gimmick. You know, yeah. I don't want this to be the way you win this match because I believe you can win. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe you are the best in this state since you wore those pink tights, brother. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we started working together.
Sure is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to go out there and prove to everybody what I've been saying about you for the last 3 years, right?
Yep.
It could be anyone. I don't care that it's Robbie, right? You are the best, and I want you to prove it, okay? Now, if McCarthy does anything, I will jump in. I mean, I'll probably get my ass kicked, but I will jump in.
You're always there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Go out there and prove me right.
Let's do it. Love you, man.
Hi, it's Jeff from Wrestle Radio Australia. I am talking to the inaugural and brand new Mayhem Pro Tag Team Champions. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm getting confused. Is it the Rock and Roll Express? Is it the Rockers? A little bit of Midnight Express there.
You know, honestly, we take a lot of inspiration from the Fantastics.
Yeah,
Tommy
okay.
Rogers and Bobby Fulton. We actually take a lot from them.
Yeah.
But as far as the gear goes, I mean, it's more of a spin on, you know, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, that sort of thing. So
Oh, I can see the initials.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's mixed between, yeah.
And why, like, you've obviously honed in on the era of the 80s, you wrestle very similarly to a lot of the great 80s tag teams, and which is, you know, wow, tears in my eyes. Why the 80s? What was it about the 80s?
I think for the 80s, that's just, when we look back on wrestling we enjoyed, we wanted to kind of, when we got into wrestling, just get real basic, get back to basics. We see everyone else go out there, they're doing moonsaults, they're doing all these amazing moves, and for us, we just feel it's too early in our careers. We're not quite up to that standard yet. So we'd like to just thought, let's just go back to basics. Let's go back to what started it all and where it really got popular, back in the territories, and just really became really attracted to that style, that look, that overall appeal. And so that's just something we're trying to bring back.
Fantastic. And are you guys looking to work elsewhere as a tag team, like go through, you know, MCW and Renegades and those kinds of places?
100%. Yeah, so MCW, we've got some things planned.
Excellent.
But Renegades, that's something maybe you should definitely on the wish list, 100%. But in terms of being a tag, we always want to stay as a tag. We've wrestled maybe one singles match each, and that was before we started as a tag team. So, but yeah, we are so set on it. It was always be a tag. That's what it always will be. So yes.
Excellent. And what is it about tag team wrestling that you guys love so much?
Well, I mean, I think it's the fact that we're best friends and we get to do it together. Yeah, we've been best friends for over a decade, so to be able to stay together and have that fun together is just wouldn't want to do this on my own. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Now you guys are massive faces. Like the crowd absolutely love you. I tried to buy a t-shirt. My cameraman tried to buy a t-shirt. We sold out. We can't get them, which breaks my heart, but it's fine.
We'll get some more.
Yeah, great. And I'll probably be able to see you in Thornbury, close in my area. Now, you know Todd adores you.
Yes.
So it's
a massive thing.
It's such a mark for you guys, which is great. And one thing that we noticed is you both really shone in the MCW Battle Royal last year. Like late last year, you both got a lot of shine. You both got a lot of time. If they were to say we want you to come in, or we want you to come in as heels, what would you change?
Well, we're already heels at Alpha Pro Wrestling, so so that was sort of a late decision for them to turn us heels, but it's taught us a lot. So I feel as if we could go in, things would be a little bit different. We'd have to have some time to develop our characters, but I think, as far as what they would envision, I think we could try and make those standards and make a good job.
I think you guys will absolutely kill it there, and I'm very excited for you both. Now, you've just got those belts. There's a lot of great tag teams in Mayhem. Who are you looking at? Who do you think is going to be the first head off the ring?
Well, I know we've buried the hatchet with Team Relentless, but I'd love to go back to Team Relentless and give them another chance and give them another go. One team that we were missing that we thought we'd come up against, High Country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Kano has been injured, but I think we had a brief interaction with him in the four-man at the last Supershow show. It was Pro. And so just that brief interaction, I think it'd be really good to possibly step in the ring with him again and see what we can do.
Well, look, that sounds great to me. Congratulations again, fellas. Thank you so much for your time. And we look on behalf of Todd definitely looks forward to seeing you grow. But Lachlan and I would love to see you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Thanks very much. Thank you. Great.
Hey guys, hello Melbourne. WrestleBrania is coming back.
Renegades of Wrestling presents WrestleBrania.
WrestleBrania.
At the Melbourne International Comedy Festival 2025.
Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Join us at the Burgee Band Room, Sydney Road, Brunswick on the 30th of March, the 6th of April and the 13th of April.
And get your tickets at WrestleBrania at the Comedy Festival right now.
Tickets are on sale now. Buy tickets.
Make sure you get your tickets to it, because otherwise Mama's gonna be disappointed in you.
Wrestlers, comedians, laughter and action.
We had a blast and you will too.
Buy tickets now.
Now don't sit in your couches, go get your tickets right now. So hurry up, or be a little loser and sit at home. Be there.
Be there.
Or else.
Or else.
Yeah, that's a great promo. Bros did a fantastic job. Lachlan's back, but he's not moving.
It's I was thinking about it during the ad, right? It really is a pity that Vince is as cancelled as what he is, because like an AI version of him doing that voiceover would have just been perfect for WrestleMania. You know what I mean? WrestleBrania.
Yeah.
But he had to go and be Vince.
I agree, but the guy's very cancelled. How are you, Lachlan?
A little bit. Just a little bit. He is white circle.
He's a white circle. In that case,
just a little white circle.
In 5. You don't edit this anyway, so I don't know why I'm going to do this, but welcome back to Wrestle Radio Australia with your stand-in host, this guy. My name's Jeff Setti. Lachlan Albert is off on it's still possible. He's off on assignment, fixing his camera or something. We don't know. Lachlan's disappeared on us. But there is a literal shit ton of very, very exciting international news. I mean, that card for WrestleMania had started to shape up very, very, very nicely. Let's go through a few things. Firstly, on yesterday's NXT, in what was a fantastic match, Stephanie Vaquer beats Julia to unify the women's NXT and North American titles. Unfortunately, Julia is injured, which is why there was the hot shot title change and matchup.
I hear that it's not as much of an injury as it's a visa thing. I think she has to go back to sort out. I don't think it's one of those things that you remember when Davis was back down here in Australia for a couple of weeks, and same with Kyle when they had to renew their visas to get it done. I think it's kind of like that, and also like she had some nagging injuries, so I think they're like go and get them sorted, get your visa sorted, and we'll come back and do. It's not that way than to do it any other way.
I mean, she's an extremely talented.
For guys that you were like, they're washed, they're kind of that match that the Hardys had with Fraxim.
I will be honest with you.
I honestly don't think I've seen Matt Hardy in this good a shape in a long time.
I think also that. It's nothing against the Hardys. They've got less days in front of them than they do behind them, let's be honest. But it shows you how bloody good Fraxium are. It shows you just how good they are, because they made the Hardys look incredible. I'm a big fan of those guys, both Frazier and Axiom. I think Axiom's, he's come a long way from being a kid.
you know, there isn't such a big expectation on the Hardys to do the ridiculous high flying stuff, right? They can work a little bit of a. Okay, boys, thank you. Yeah, my camera's cooked, but my mic's working. Okay. We spoke about it before we went on tonight. Before we started, my camera did make a sizzling noise, so we'll have to investigate that more after the show. So if you're watching us live, that's right. I'm nothing but a voice. So I don't have video. But I think that the Hardys in that kind of spot makes much more sense. Now, there's a rumor about the WWE Hall of Fame for 2025. Obviously, we know that there's been a couple of announcements for it, but the rumor is the Natural Disasters to be inducted. What do you think of that one, Todd?
Yeah, I heard apparently like Fred Ottman or Typhoon let it slip in an interview that like he's very like humbled to be put in there with Earthquake and like how much he loves John Tenter and stuff like that. So it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I think that you'll hear in the next couple of days that he's been named. So he joins because I don't think we didn't do a show last week when Lex had been announced for it. So that's freaking awesome. I love that. And then Lex has come out this week and said he'd love to have DDP and Sting inducted.
And I think they'll get them. I think they'll get them both. Like, yeah,
I hope so.
I think this is one of those cases where Tony Khan will probably go, well, that's your choice. Like, you do what you want. There's no, it's for Lex. I want to mention that Tenter is one of those rare people in wrestling that you will never hear anyone say a bad word about him. Even when he was alive, people were saying wonderful things about the bloke. He's apparently just one of the nicest human beings, or was. I think the Natural Disasters really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm very, very happy about that. And I think we apparently Demolition, the relationship has begun to sort of mend a little bit. I've been reading, so surely they're pretty close to.
Apparently, there's some new figures being in the works from Mattel, which means that they've worked out some sort of a Legends deal.
Which is wonderful because the demos are such an integral part of WWE history that they should be in the Hall of Fame. Also, of note, LA Knight won the US title on SmackDown. Rumors are Nakamura might be finishing up with the WWE. That's a great shame.
Wade Keller reports that his contract is up soon, and apparently WWE haven't shown an interest in re-signing him, which is a bit shocking. But I mean, they haven't been using him that much, aside from this run.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he's been used amazingly since he got to the main roster.
Oh, he was for a little bit, and it was very on and off. Very on and off.
But my hope is they do a complete circle with him. And by that, I mean his first match under the WWE banner was probably one of his best matches. And the guy who is his opponent isn't doing anything for WrestleMania at the moment. And he's not doing anything for WrestleMania. So let's see Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania, because I think that'll be amazing. Like, just have a great match. I think it'll be great.
Could you see him maybe going back to New Japan for like one last thing with oh god, I'm blanking on his name right now.
Tanahashi.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see him getting one last run in. He's such a good wrestler. Like, he could pick up at any point in time and be fantastic. So I could see him going back at least for, an intermittent run, maybe even a short run, culminating in Tanahashi's retirement match next year, because they're probably not going to get Okada for that match. So Shinsuke's the second best choice. I'm curious.
Alex Fireheart says, I could see New Japan throwing all the money to Shinsuke to bring it back. Thing is that they don't have all the money. That's just
they don't.
Thing. Like, if they had all the money, then you wouldn't be seeing the exits of New Japan to AEW that you do.
Well, I mean, this is just a personal note, but for the first time in about 8 years, I cancelled my New Japan subscription. I've just got no interest in seeing it anymore because they're doing what WCW and WWE have done before them and just pushing old blokes, and I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I find myself with that. I like subscribe around like the
Kingdom.
G1s.
Yeah.
Like around Kingdom, but also like G1, around like junior tags. Anything that's got the Aussie guys in it.
Yeah.
For like an extended period of time, I'll sub to that, but I'll fall off that quick as well because like especially with the G1, there's so much shit on. Like every night there's a show that you really just can't dedicate. I can't dedicate that much time into watching it.
I go through years where I watch every single show and then years where I go, yeah. I did this year, obviously, and I watched Tag League as well. There is one thing to mention. It didn't like no one spoke about this. I think we're breaking this, but apparently at the end of Elimination Chamber, John Cena, who had been John Cena, who had been a babyface apparently for most of his run in WWE, for the first time in about 25 years, he turned heel. I'm just going to come out with my thoughts first, and then maybe the voice wants to come out with his thoughts, and then yourself, Todd.
Sounds good.
I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved it. As much as I've been critical of The Rock's promos and just the meandering nature of them, I thought this was terrific. I really, really liked it because it made you immediately interested in Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. It absolutely did. I'm all there for this. Apparently, Cena and Rhodes are going to be in the same ring next Monday night at Raw. I think we're going to see. We're going to see a bit more. Cody has been sporting one hell of a shiner, which I think was Travis Scott getting a little bit over enthused. But this was great.
Apparently, The Rock said to Travis Scott, like, if you're going to do something in that ring, just throw it, because if it looks weak, then you're going to let everyone down. So he listened.
And I don't think Cody cares. I think he's on board for it. He doesn't care.
Oh yeah.
If it puts more asses in seats, what does he care? If it gets more interest, what does he care?
What do you think, Lachlan? Was it the wrong guy that turned heel? Did you expect Cody to sell his soul?
Look, Cody doesn't need to sell his soul. He's already a heel, obviously. I think, look, it shocked the world. Now, he's standing alone. He flips them fools like clamshell cellular phones. You can't help but nod your head to the track. Fuck the watered down rap. He's been taking it back. Give it to me straight. Ain't no chasing it. Check yourself in the mirror. Ain't no facing it, because you play in the role and you plan it to fold through the master plan. We got this planet on hold. He's a bad man. That's the point I'm trying to make here. I have been wanting...
Lachlan, I'm glad I can't see your face right now with your smug fucking smile on that.
But this is the point, right? Like, I was, I remember as a tiny little kid, before I was properly into wrestling, listening to the John Cena album where he was talking about being a bad man. And that's what made him cool. And then for years, he was just smiley, generic white meat babyface. And now Cody's doing something interesting with that role. John Cena doesn't need to do that. He gets to go on this final year career renaissance where he gets to do the things he didn't get to do, and this is top of the list, obviously. And it also gives him now a reasonable chance to go against the people that I think he needs to go against in a final year, the Randy Ortons of the world, without it having to be meaningless because they're on the same side, or having to have Randy turn heel for no reason, right? This is almost the only thing that makes sense, and yet it was still such a shock. I think it was done to perfection.
Okay, so one thing we haven't really spoken about on this show is Elimination Chamber, because we didn't get to talk.
We were underwater.
Yeah, you guys were not eating lasagna with me. So
You can't see the middle fingers I'm throwing at you, Jeff.
I'm sure. And fuck your young Lachlan. So there was some. This was a really good pay-per-view, like premium live event pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. This was so bloody good. Liv Morgan is fucking incredible right now, wrestling the matches of her career. Everyone in both the women's and men's cages did a great job. Jade Cargill coming back, taking out Naomi, who did it for Bianca. In what was a little bit of definitely a nod and a wink on last week's SmackDown.
Promo. Really,
that was a great promo. Naomi bawling, like actually really crying. Brilliant stuff. And Jade, Bianca playing the confused best friend of both of them. Really nice work. And Jade did really well as being that bitch. That was great. Owens Zayn was insane, like just nuts. And then, Trish Tiffany was fun. It was a breather. It was a nice breather when everything else was so intense. And then you finish with that men's match and the turn. Excellent. Chef kiss, good.
But also just having it come down to Punk and Cena, and their chemistry is just still there, isn't it?
Loved it. And I love that Punk and Cena shared that moment where, they kind of hugged each other out and sort of went, hey, I respect you. And since Cena's turn, Punk has just been dragging him through the mud. It's really interesting to see. I thought this was a terrific show. I thought Elimination Chamber, just top to bottom, one of the best WWE shows, certainly in the last 3 or 4 years. Really good.
I just want to address something Alex Fireheart said in the chat. They said Sammy and Owens should have not done the drop toe hold into the barbed wire chair if Owens wasn't going to blade for it. It felt weird. Alex said they're fine with no blood in it, but that spot felt weird without blood, mainly because Owens sold it like it'd been busted open. I think they expected the chair to bust him open. I think they expected him to open up hard way, and he didn't. And they would rather not blade. And if he bleeds, he bleeds. And if he doesn't bleed, it doesn't bleed. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I would concur with you there, Lachlan.
Yeah.
Todd, what did you think? What did you think of Chamber?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Like I said, just the parts with like Sammy and Owens was great. Like, the only thing I probably would have changed is. I'm not a massive fan of the end spot where Owens is about to pile drive Sammy into the concrete, and then Owens' music plays and he walks casually down to the ring.
Orton's.
Orton's music plays and then Randy just walks casually down to the ring. Like, why, if you're Owens, why wouldn't you just well, I've got time, this fucker's walking, I'm just going to pile drive him. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you were going to do it, I would have just had him come out of the crowd and then bang RKO.
I think that he was playing it, that he was shocked that.
I know what he was playing, but like, I know what he was playing. I just, when I watch that, I'm like, eh.
But I mean, that's a minor quibble. That really is.
Yeah.
I like a very, very minor quibble. I, as I said, I love the show. Lachlan, what did you think of Chamber, mate?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was fantastic. It's the kind of show where I'm glad that they didn't do any more matches as well. It felt tight and to the point. I think that being a 4-match card was perfect, especially with, look, I could have done with the Rock being a bit quicker with everything. It felt very slow to get to that point. But, we'll get there.
Do you think that The Rock is doing that just to be more hated, just to get more heat? Like, you want me to do this, I'm going to drag
entirely possible
everything out so you just yell at me to just, will you hurry up? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm starting to get heat for The Rock, so it must be working, because every time he shows up, It's like, all right, well, I'm actually going to stop watching it live so I can fast forward through most of it later. Because that's what I've started doing, is as soon as The Rock shows up, I'm like, well, this is going to be 20 minutes before anything happens. And I leave.
But you know what? That's not for you. It's for the live audience.
Correct. They've got to sit through it. I don't, thankfully.
Yeah.
Jeff?
What, The Rock's promos? They're tough to watch at the moment. They're very meandering. There's like that one on SmackDown that was my chicken shit when you were having camera problems, Lachlan. He turned face and heel 30 times in a 5-minute promo that went on for half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, I think the show was fantastic, right? Especially when you've got like 4 matches, and I think the tag match was fine, but mostly the show was at a really high level. So I appreciated that I was able to sit down and watch just a good wrestling show start to finish, right? Yeah.
Also, we didn't cover that because, again, we had Alfred visiting. Io Sky winning the women's title off Rhea Ripley, which is a shock. But it looks like we're definitely leading into a triple threat with Bianca, Sky, and Rhea at WrestleMania.
See, it would make sense, but I also think that, sorry to interrupt, Jeff, but I think that there's a possibility that they want to put Rhea into something else just to hold off on that Bianca-Rhea WrestleMania match that they've been building for a long time now, considering that they obviously don't want Bianca to lose at WrestleMania so she can have the new Undertaker streak.
Sometimes, because there's no camera, I can't tell what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Neither can I.
It's
genuinely, Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania. They want to keep her that way. I think that's why they are trying to get Rhea out of that picture, so that when that happens, it can be for Bianca's streak. And I think that is interesting.
I don't think that is that at all, to be honest with you. I can't see them going, this is the new Undertaker streak with Bianca Belair. No offense.
Todd?
Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend.
Where's my vape? Has it made its way up to Queensland all of a sudden without me realising it?
No, it's all right. No, it's fine. No, he does these things every now and then. The Cody's a heel thing.
Okay.
Now we've got, like, Bianca is the Undertaker. This is the new one.
Is she not undefeated at WrestleMania?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't care.
Yeah, I think for a start,
no one cared about the Undertakers until he was fucking 10-0 or something.
I think there's a world of difference between the Undertaker and Bianca Belair.
I'm not saying that she's the Undertaker. I'm saying that they recognize a WrestleMania streak as marketable, and Bianca's got one.
Yeah, but I don't think they didn't realize that the Undertaker had an Undertaker streak until he was 10 years in. I don't think they're going to go 2 years into Bianca.
Yeah, but that was wrestling 30 years ago. That people are looking at stats these days in the way that they want.
I also think
Taker was in his prime.
I think
it's going to be a triple threat.
I also think, to be completely fair, they will never do another streak because they need to show the respect to Taker. And, there have been interviews with multiple people, Heyman and Levesque and several other people who have all said, we will never see a streak like that again. They've all categorically said it. So I don't think they're doing it as a streak. I think they're just, they like Bianca and she's great for what she represents. But I think that it's a triple threat. And I think that it's to make sure that Rhea doesn't get stale.
Yeah, but then, Jesus, I just realised that fucking Bianca won Rumble, so she's... Oh, no, she didn't. Charlotte won it.
She didn't. So Charlotte won the Rumble.
Yeah, they can still move her off into Jade and Naomi.
And Naomi, yeah.
So I can see them yeah. I can see it being a triple threat. I can also see her not being a part of a title thing at all. But it's going to be hard. I just don't know what they're doing. Because at the moment, you've got Rhea, who is a raging babyface. You got Io Sky, who's a raging babyface, and you've got Bianca, who's also a raging babyface.
No raging
so what
babyface.
do you do? So what do you do? Do you eventually have like Jade decide that she was going to go with Bianca, like go after Bianca and make that, or like I just don't know. I don't know what's going on between Bianca and Naomi. Like Naomi and Bianca still could have a match at Mania. I don't know.
I feel now, to me, I think that you cannot turn Rhea heel at this point. You cannot turn Io heel at this point, and you really will struggle to turn Bianca heel at this point, considering the narrative that's worn into her character. So they're kind of in a.
Well, they had a chance. They could have turned Bianca. They could have turned Bianca heel if she'd have been a part of it with Naomi.
Yeah, but I still don't think the crowd would have bought it.
They had that chance. No, they would have. 100% they would have. They would have bought into that because it was like her and Naomi decided that they didn't want Jade in the picture anymore. A, because she's a threat, and B, because, well, Naomi's my best friend. I want her to be my tag partner and tag champion, not Jade. Like, that's where they could have done it. I don't think they can now because of what they did on SmackDown, but that's the direction that they could have went if they were going to do it.
You know what they could do?
Because if they want to looked at it, go on,
if they want to turn
some joke,
if they want to turn Bianca, just get her to put on a Homelander jacket, and she's an instant heel, right, Lachlan?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Oh my Lord.
You get the heel gear, you put it on.
I'm just doing this to bust Todd's balls right now. Anyway, sorry, you were saying that.
They're doing it again.
Let's it might be time to move on, I think. Let's talk about what's going on over the other side of the fence at AEW and start with Dynamite today and the Dynamite appearance of Gabriel Eros and Eli Theseus, the pareja, making their AEW debut on Dynamite. Obviously great news for the Aussie scene, right, Todd?
Yes, yeah, it was good to see him on there. It was unexpected, but it was good to see him pop up there with Vinny Pacifico, I think it was, against the Ops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
that's some nice chemistry.
To be in the ring against the Ops.
Yeah. 100%. Like, we talked about it off air, Lachlan. Like, just to have those two guys go, okay, my first match in AEW, and I'm jumping in the ring with Samoa Joe and Shinsuke. I'm not Shinsuke. What did I say?
Shibata.
Shibata. Thank you. And Shibata. Like, that's it's one of those things.
Nakamura, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Shibata. Lachlan's, we can't see him, but Lachlan's put on a Homelander jacket.
I'm going to start changing the typing in some of these fucking things.
We've got another debut on AEW was my boy, Speedball Mike Bailey, who...
Your boy, you've never mentioned him before.
A little bit hard. I've never mentioned Speedball Mike Bailey? Funny.
No.
You know, it's hard to get too excited for an AEW debut these days because we've seen a lot of people show up and then not get the momentum that we think that they could or should have. So I'm going to remain hopeful when it comes to Mike Bailey because what an awesome performer. I love seeing Speedball. Anytime they're on screen, I'm excited. I'm hoping that this goes well. But let's talk about some more established stuff. Orange Cassidy, one of two competitors to advance in the first round of the AEW International Title Eliminator Tournament on Wednesday's Dynamite. Do we think that Cassidy is going to make it to come up against Omega, Todd?
I can see them doing it, but I kind of want it to be Ricochet. After his match at Revolution, Ricochet and Omega at Dynasty, that's a good match.
Yeah.
That's a good match.
I think because Ricochet probably beats Shibata, right?
But yeah, you would think so. But and Bailey and Omega, you're also excluding the crowd. What's the? Hang on, let me look at the brackets here.
Yeah, so we've got Orange Cassidy and Mike Bailey confirmed, and then it's going to be Ricochet versus Shibata and Briscoe versus Davis. Now, the logic to me is that you put Mark Davis in the match as the big heavy base.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I think you have Ricochet win against Shibata, but then I also think you have Briscoe win against Davis.
You reckon Briscoe?
Yeah, because then if you get Ricochet to win it, then he's just won against 3 baby faces. To go in to a. I don't like the idea because I want Davis to win. If it's Davis against anyone, I want Davis to win.
I think in terms of putting that 4-way match together, you've already got Speedball Mike Bailey and Orange Cassidy. If you then put Ricochet in it, that's a lot of bodies flying. I think that Mark Davis makes more sense as the 4th man in the match.
You do know what those 3 initials are at the top of the marquee.
Oh, AEW. Sorry, never mind. It's probably going to be Briscoe, yeah.
Hell,
they'll put Shibata in it.
Everything.
They'll put Katsuyori Nakamura in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking hell. Don't make a mistake around you fucks, will you? Jesus. I think Ricochet and Omega is a better overall story you can tell.
I would concur with that, Todd. I would concur with that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about the results of Revolution, though. We had Adam Page defeating Machine Gun Kelly. We also had Mercedes Moné defending the TBS title against Momo Watanabe. The AEW World Title #1 contendership match was won by Swerve Strickland, who managed to defeat Ricochet and reconcile with Prince Nana. The AEW Continental title match saw Okada defeat Brody King. The AEW World Tag Team title match was won by the Hurt Syndicate, managing to defend those titles against the Outrunners. The AEW Women's World Title Hollywood Ending match saw a lot of blood as Toni Storm was absolutely pouring red in her victory over Mariah May. The AEW International title match had Kenny Omega defeat Konosuke Takeshita in 28 minutes and 30 seconds to become the new champion. Will Ospreay defeated Kyle Fletcher in just under 29 minutes in a steel cage. And the AEW World title match became a 3-way match with Christian Cage cashing in his world title opportunity to be added as an additional opponent for Jon Moxley against Cope, with Jon Moxley managing to retain against both men. Jeff, did you watch this show?
Yes, I did. I mentioned how long the PWL show was. I ain't got nothing on this thing. This seemed to go on for so long. There are about 3 matches in here where I would have just put them on a Dynamite as a main event, or on a Winter is Coming type show as a special. But I will also say I feel that the main event was the wrong match. I think that Toni Storm versus Mariah May, should have been the main event, because that was balls out amazing. That was certainly one of the most incredible matches I've seen. Bloody as fuck, as you said, Lachlan. Very, very bloody. But they both came out looking incredible. I think that this feud has to end for now. I think that has to be it, because I don't think they can do anything more. But I did enjoy that. I also thought that Okada versus Brody King was great, and Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet was never going to be a bad match. That was something special. Top to bottom, a really, really, really good show. And it's good to see Mercedes Moné beginning to put some really good matches together as well, because she certainly is. A good show. A good show, but too long.
Yeah. I'll just jump to Alex Fireheart's comment, who said the Hollywood ending should have been the main, and if not, there were like 2 other matches I would have picked over Mox and Cope. I think the 3 matches preceding Mox and Cope and Cage all would have fit better as the main event, just personally.
Agree.
So, would you like me to start tearing this apart? Because I have thoughts.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Monet and Watanabe, that was a really good match. Like, I'm not going to say anything about it. Paige and MJF, really good match. Strickland and Ricochet, really good match. Okada, Brody King, really good match. Then we hit the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's when the breaks hit on this show. I feel, and I think I said this on X, I feel like the Outrunners are 2025's version of the Acclaimed. They're going to get the title. They're going to get those titles when they cool off and nobody gives a shit about them anymore. The Outrunners pretty much by like at least their entrance are the most over tag team in AEW at the moment. So why do you feed them to the Hurt Syndicate straight away in a 8-minute match for nothing? Mariah May and Toni Storm 1000% should have main evented this show. 1000%. Not only the fact that they literally finished the match with the end. If that's not a good way to finish a pay-per-view, I don't know. I couldn't think of a better way to finish that pay-per-view than that. Omega and Takeshita, even though they went 30 minutes, I still think they left plenty on the table for more matches. Great match. Ospreay and Fletcher, again, I'm not going to have a dick measuring contest between them and Punk and Rollins. Two entirely different matches, both of them really good and serve their purpose. Again, it was a good way of putting over Ospreay, but then also having Kyle Fletcher come out as being the next guy. I don't think he is the guy at the moment. I think Swerve Strickland is the guy. I don't care about everyone that you've brought over from WWE. I don't care what you're paying them. The guy on your roster that should be carrying your company or being the head of your company is Swerve Strickland at the moment.
I walk away from AEW pay-per-views. I usually watch them of an evening or two, and I'm usually going, whose house? Just walking around going, whose house? It's a great... He's amazing, and he can back it up in ring. It's not just that he's a fantastic presence and personality. No. He's phenomenal in ring.
Yeah. Now, as for the main event, and I do that very much in quotes, it wasn't like a four-finger stinker, but it wasn't good.
No.
And you've had, 6 months of Christian Cage walking around with his fucking contract to just burn it like that. I don't understand why do you have him fucking around for how long as he did, not signing the there are plenty of other people that actually pitched better ideas going into this than what happened on the night. The whole idea of somebody had pitched that the thing is you have to sign the contract to enact it. Why wouldn't Switchblade steal that and sign it and enact it himself? That's a better idea. That's I just don't get what they, and I know there's all these rumors going around that apparently Copeland said he didn't want to do the job. That's why they put Christian in there and Christian ate the pin or ate the submission or whatever. I don't believe that for a second. I just think this was terrible booking, to be honest with you. I just think it was a shocking book. And the fact that and somebody in chat said, can you pronounce the name, please, Lachlan, because you're great at that.
Bambajukin.
Thank you. Right. Can you explain how Mox beats Cope and Swerve's the number one contender, but next week is Moxley v. Cope for the title again? The only way I can explain it is because of the Cage thing. They were able to get around it going, well, he didn't get a proper one-on-one match. They're going to give it to him. And, of course, it's a bloody Cope. It's a Mox match, so they've got to throw it so there's 1,000 fucking stipulations because Mox can't just wrestle a normal match. Not with the way he wrestles. It is what it is. I think that they cooked it. They've cooked their world title picture completely to the fact that it 1,000% should have been Tony and Mariah. 1,000%. That should have been the main event of the show.
And that's not me being parochial. A lot of online commentators, even American online commentators, were going, it should absolutely be Tony and Mariah. Mariah ending that night.
It's been their longest running story and most critically acclaimed story they've had for the past 2 years. Why wouldn't you
18
end the thing? Well, oh my, holy shit! That scared the hell out of me.
Well,
why wouldn't you
that's
end
horrific.
the?
Gosh,
yeah. Why wouldn't you end?
That's an Oz wrestling card waiting to happen.
Oh, stop moving it, will you? For fuck's sake! Why wouldn't you end that? I guess, is it a trilogy of matches? Why wouldn't you end the trilogy of matches being the first ever women's match to main event a pay-per-view? Why wouldn't you do that?
That just makes sense. It makes so much sense. I like this show, but I was disappointed in the match order, and I agree. The Outrunners, I think they're losing their over aspect as well. I don't think they're as over as they were.
Oh, because you can only be over for so long, and hold like the people that are over back from getting their like just do or their title before the crowd go, well, you guys, like, obviously the promotion doesn't care about them. I don't want to care about them anymore. You're not giving me a reason to care about them because you're constantly putting them on the back burner.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Acclaim. They could have done that with the Acclaim 12 months before they gave them the titles. And when they did, it was done and everyone was over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with guys like the Outrunners who, like, respect to them, their ring work is not their strength.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if
they're
you want
great
to be exciting, do it while they're hot.
Andy says meme teams can't ever last long. Yeah, they can if you book them right. They can last a long time if you book them right. But it's just they don't like. Tony doesn't like doing that. Tony likes holding off and holding off and holding off, and he holds off way too long. It's kind of like the way he books matches. He gives every match an extra 5 minutes, and by the time everyone like that extra 5 minutes hits, you're like, "Fuck that! If this ended 5 minutes ago, perfect match."
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit, and Matt Huswaite was also in the room when they were going through the event on Saturday, and the guys who ran the show were like, okay, so this match has 8 minutes. What's the finish? Okay, that's good. This match has this long. What's the finish? Okay, that's good. This match, and it's really, really nice to hear. The only match they didn't reveal the end of was Jab Erica. They kept that very, very quiet for everybody, which is kind of nice. But I think that Tony goes, MJF, Adam Page, how long do you want to do? Okay. Swerve Ricochet, how long do you want to do? Okay. I don't think there's any constraint on time. I think he just books pay-per-view slots for 5 hours, and if it comes in under that, great.
Yeah.
I would be interesting to see what they do, but again, that women's match should have been the main event of this show.
Oh, absolutely.
Should have been.
And you are not,
because it was a perfect ending too. The end coming up on those two big screens. How do you not fade to black after that?
And, the third match in their series, so it's definitively the end of what they've got going on, to the point where they put it on the screen. It wraps up the show. It's an incredibly bloody match, so you end up with, striking images to leave you. I think that, you can eat it up like chicken salad. Speaking of, we've got chicken salad and chicken shit to throw at you to make sure that this show doesn't go for 4 hours. Let's start with the negative stuff. Chicken shallad. Did I say that?
Yes,
yeah, you did.
You became Sean Connery for a second there. We've got chicken shallad to talk about.
And if you don't think I was going to fucking jump on that after the Shinsuke shit.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't. It was absolutely. All right, Toady, what have you got for chicken shit?
Oh, I didn't say it.
I know. That's fine. He doesn't. He still forgets that I get to see him on the weekend. My chicken shit has to do a little bit with AEW and the booking side of it, especially because like today on Dynamite, and Dynamite from what I've watched so far has been a fairly decent episode, but they are like Tony seems to just like want to reheat stuff that's happened before and put a different person in that same spot. Because you had today Tony Storm doing a promo after she'd won the title. Very entertaining promo, as always, from Tony. Spotlight on her. Everything's dark. Megan Bain attacks her at the end. Kind of exactly what happened with her and Mariah May to restart what they had going. It's like you couldn't think of a different way to do it. And not only that, you've picked Megan Bain, who is the first, like she's only just been signed. I think she had 1 or 2 matches. And the second match was the shit that happened with her and Thunder Rosa and Penelope, which was we were away with Alfred, so we didn't get to talk about that. It would have been my chicken shit last week. Would have been that spot in that match. But yeah, just like there's 1,000 ideas. There are 1,000 things you can steal from. There are 1,000 things you can appropriate for wrestling angles. Don't go back to the same thing. I will just put Tony in a spotlight and have the person attack her next, and that's your next challenger. Like that. There was that. And then there was also during Mercedes Moné and Watanabe's match, they had Billy Stark sitting in the crowd, like looking at Mercedes, being that she's going to be the next challenger for the title. And it's like, I think it's happened on Dynamite, or they're planning it on Dynamite. Why is it Billy Starks? Why is it Billy Starks? Billy has spent the best part of the last 18 to 24 months getting proven that she's not as good as Athena, losing in every time she gets a shot with Athena. Whereas Athena could have passed that Ring of Honor title onto her, and Athena be the one to move on to Mercedes.
Yeah, I would
Then you've got
agree.
a credible challenger. And then you've got Billy, who's had that torch passed to her and say, hey, I beat Athena, who's a 400-day Ring of Honor women's champion. Like, this is like, I'm going to carry this torch in Ring of Honor for a while. But instead, you've just had her go, okay, I'm going to lose to her for the last however long, every time I've had a shot with her. But then we're going to push her up to being in a match with Mercedes Moné. That stuff like that doesn't make sense, and that's why that's my chicken shit for this week.
Yeah, completely fair.
Yep, Jeff?
I've got mine is wrestling adjacent. Okay. I understand patriotism. I understand that America has a high level of patriotism. But Pat McAfee, if you go into Canada and you don't understand why people boo the fuck out of the American national anthem, you are even stupider than I thought. If you, I get that he's trying to be a heel and he's playing to his base. I get that. But it wasn't necessary. It didn't add anything to the show. And it just made more people kind of go, McAfee's a bit of a dick than not.
Honestly, I just watched him. Meh.
I just thought it wasn't. I just thought it wasn't necessary, and I was a bit disappointed in it. And again, I'm really, really cranky that main event. You said it, Todd. Like that main event should have been Tony against Mariah with the big the end at the end, because it's perfect. It's a perfect ending to a show. You send the crowd home happy. Mox winning sent the crowd home going, as you just did. It just made the crowd a bit.
It was very much like the finish at Grand Slam.
Yeah.
It was that same sort of like flat finish. Where that's what a lot of main event of a pay-per-view is supposed to be. I get that you want to keep putting the heat on the heel, and then you did the bit afterwards with, like, I don't know why, but Tony seems to like ending pay-per-views the way he's supposed to end go-home TV shows, and then ending go-home TV shows the way he's supposed to end pay-per-views. It's the weirdest type of booking I've ever seen, but hey, he gets it.
Yeah. Andy in chat said their chicken shit is the Revolution main event. Tony versus Mariah is the best story AEW's done since Hangman won the title. If that literal Hollywood ending isn't main eventing, then women will never main event a pay-per-view. Hard to argue with.
I don't think... but I don't think you can say that women will never main event a pay-per-view. we have seen it a couple of times, especially from WWE and the news.
I think that he's saying
Sorry?
that, like, if that angle, if that thing can't main event, I think it's a very hard road to hoe for anyone else coming up after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a hard one to sort of push that barrow over. Yeah, Lachlan, what did you find shit this
Just
week?
quickly, Alex Fireheart also saying that people continuing going in matches after injuries, it pisses me off. I'm going to go for an old faithful, and just having to listen to Booker T commentate on NXT just is, I'm so sick of it. I know that it's been my chicken shit more than once, but it just sucks so much. And there was a clip of him, commentating on, Stephanie doing the head to the mat move, and I'm just sick of it. It's beyond the point.
I can tell by your photo.
Now. Yeah. That's how it makes me feel. Like, really, it's anyway. Back to good stuff. I might do my chicken salad first.
It's funny you say that, because I actually have a thread in one of the chats with the boys at the moment where we're talking about our favorite pieces of Booker T commentary.
Oh yeah.
And when I say favorite, it's when I say favorite, I mean favorite because of how bad it is.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Shucky Ducky Quack Quack's an all timer, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently he said no bread, no water, just meat.
Yeah. Yep.
And my favorite is always my God.
I did notice
because he doesn't want anyone else to talk.
I did notice one thing is that of late, clearly Michaels has said, stop doing the Trick Williams bit where you're going, where the crowd are going, whoop that trick, and he goes, oh, whoop that trick, oh yeah, whoop that. It's just, I think they told him, shut the fuck up.
So bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to take my chicken salad first because it's something that I truly did not think I would say, and it is worthy of celebration. And that is, you're not going to believe me when I say it. I really enjoyed Chris Jericho's promo. Genuinely enjoyed it. He stole Hologram's mask and was talking to it like it was Yorick in Hamlet, and talked about how he's just going to make Bandito's life hell. And it's not because of anything. It's just that Bandito happened to be the wrong person to be in Chris Jericho's way when Chris Jericho decided that he's not having it anymore and he's going to start making people's lives hell, and then just scrunched up the stolen mask and threw it away. And he's doing it sitting backstage with the title over his shoulder and just like malice in his eyes. And it's like, finally Chris Jericho understands, or at least is showing us that he understands what it means to be someone who has done this for as long as he has and hold a title and make it mean something when someone comes to take that title. Finally, it was actually a good promo from Jericho. I can't believe
it. Who are you, and what have you done with Lachlan?
Whoever's behind this microphone is clearly doing a good impression of my voice to be celebrating the work of Jericho. Matt in chat said
is a real motherfucker at the moment.
Chicken salad is Kaitoa, the incredible young talent out of Riot City who now has a red hot program in Victoria's MXW once he's back from injury. An absolutely amazing wrestler with a huge future. Yeah, talk about a guy that we have been, I think it was 2 years ago, Todd was saying was a guy to watch out for. Like, he's the future. Andy says, excited to talk about his chicken salad. Sunday's Renegade show might be the best show they've done at Northcote. Everything was great to excellent, except the door in the Bastards versus JXT Phil match. That door was a prima donna. Also,
doors don't break like tables.
Yeah, they just don't. Credit to the Aussie representation on Botchamania this past week. Always good to see. Todd, what's your chicken salad?
I am the table.
I've got two. One's a personal one. One is wrestling. This week on Raw, I don't know if you guys watch Raw this week at all, but they were using a lot of drone shots in MSG, and they were beautiful, like the entrance ones, and especially during the cage match. They have like a camera literally go up where Punk and Rollins are on top of the cage hitting each other, and to be able to get close in that angle, that was amazing. I thought that was like, yeah, that is what you call like breaking ground when it comes to like filming wrestling matches, to be able to do that sort of stuff. And it just looks amazing with the entrance. To be able to do an entrance like that where you have the drone like fly over the ring and then down through the entranceway to where the wrestler's standing. That's a great visual. It's such a good visual and makes the guy look like an absolute star or girl. My other chicken salad is, look, this weekend we have Mitch Ryder against Robbie Eagles. Our careers at Pro Wrestling League against half of the company. If this is our last match at Pro League, I just want to, because I'm pretty sure if we lose this match, then we're not going to get a chance on the mic to say goodbye and all that stuff, because we're bad guys. We don't deserve to do that. So for that reason, I'll just take the time here to say to thank everyone that attends shows, that supports Pro Wrestling League around the time that we've been there and doing our thing. It has meant a lot. Even though you booed us, you hated us, it's meant a lot to us that you guys have come and supported us. All the people behind the scenes, like Jesse, who runs Pro League, especially. All the people that backstage that queue us up to go out at the proper times to make sure that everything's in order for us backstage. Thank you to all of those people. It means a lot that you're there. It means a lot that you're willing to help and grow what we've all been trying to grow for since 2019 when it first started. Before COVID hit and we had to rebuild. But it means a lot that a lot of those people are still there and still helping out, like the social media people, even the people in the crowd that take all the social media like clips and put them up on their socials to help promote like what we do at Pro League. Thank you to all of those guys. Again, that's if that is my. If it's not, I hate you all. Okay, if I own the place, I hate you all.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm like not excited for. Hey Jeff, you're in Adelaide at the moment, is that right?
Yeah, but don't I have some nice things to talk about as well as being in Adelaide?
Oh,
yeah, he's got a chicken salad.
I have a couple. Firstly, the fact and the rumor is getting stronger and stronger that WWE look like they're doing a second women's only pay-per-view. So a follow-up to the Evolution pay-per-view of some years ago. And with their roster at the moment, that is so exciting. I mean, that is going to be fantastic. Todd, yes, a very good Raw. Like a really, really good Raw this week. Flew by. But and I've also got a personal chicken salad coming in a minute, but my chicken salad for the fortnight is Lex Luger being in the Hall of Fame. And not only Lex Luger being in the Hall of Fame, but the video with Cody walking up to him and Lex being, like, for the first time, everyone's seeing him stand up out of his wheelchair and give Cody a hug. That just, someone was cutting onions in the room or the room was dusty. I can't be sure. But I was very, very emotional about seeing Lex be able to move again. And, I'm thrilled that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame because I think he deserves it. And also, obviously the personal one. Tomorrow night, Mickey Fortune against Matt Grimbasso. Saturday night, Dean Brady against Matt Hayter. Sunday night, we have Banjo Powers going up against Lachlan's favourite wrestler ever, Mr. Cliff. And then on Monday, for St. Patrick's Day, we have Down Under going up against Dr. Richard Gouda. This is going to be a great weekend of shows. We have some crazy games coming in. We have a lot of fun and tickets are moving pretty quick. So if you're planning on coming, come along and watch the show and introduce yourself and say hi because it's going to be fun.
Is this your first extended run outside of Melbourne?
No, we've done Perth. We did 2 or 3 shows in Perth a couple of years ago. we've done a long run in Perth, but this is something special we got planned for Adelaide this week, and we are so.
I will say, for those of you that don't know, the Fringe is the big thing in Adelaide for the year. The Fringe Festival is it.
It's the biggest arts festival in Australia, and the buzz around town. Like I went for a walk to the venue earlier, and all the artists are hanging out together and having a laugh together. And I bumped into some friends while I was on the walk, and people grabbing flyers, just sort of people I haven't seen for a couple of years, giving each other hugs and stuff like that. It's a really nice, warm feeling.
It's great to go down there where the tent is and all that sort of area as well. It's just a great feeling when you're walking around there. It's just a relaxed, like everyone's there to have fun. It's just, I love this time of year in Adelaide. Love it.
And Arthur Art Bar is a great, it's a great facility and venue, and we're really, really excited to be there. Tickets still available from the Fringe website. So come along and see some shows. But it's good to be back, boys. I mean, I missed you last week while you were under a lot of watch.
We were on the storm watch. I don't know how you went. How did you go, Lockie, with your house? Were you good?
We had a bit of power outage, but we were safe, and that's what's important, And you, Todd, I think it was a bit similar.
I got nothing. We had a lot of rain, but that was it. We didn't lose power. We were lucky. We didn't lose power. We didn't lose anything. We lost days of work, and that was it. Like I lost Thursday and Friday. We didn't work. We could have worked Thursday and Friday, but everyone we weren't sure when it was going to hit. Like Locke. It was always just like, okay, it's going to hit Thursday afternoon. Then it was like, oh no, okay, it's moved to like Friday now. About Friday midday it should hit. Then I was like, oh, no, it's not going to be now. It's going to be like Saturday night or Saturday during like Friday, Saturday, maybe Saturday morning is when it'll hit really hard. So like batten down the hatches and blah, blah, blah. And it never really did. Not for us. Like there were people like I know that Bobby Bishop, he lost power to his house for I think 4 or 5 days.
5 days, yeah.
So, yeah. So that sucked for them. I personally don't know anyone who like got really, really flooded. I know people that got really close, but it's just one thing I do love about Brisbane is how quickly they shake off these things, though.
Oh yeah, it's done.
The shit happened. Like it literally happened last weekend, and this weekend everyone's going, "Oh, where are we going this weekend? What are we doing this weekend? We're getting out again." Yep. Like they don't let anything hold them back, which is going to be great. Because there was times where I was like, oh, shit, don't know how next weekend's going to go. But, exactly. Hasn't really phased anyone.
Well, that's exactly right. And, it's good to know that there's always going to be that next thing on. So if you want to keep up with what that next thing's going to be, I think you've got to follow Wrestle Radio Australia. You can do it over on X. We're at Wrestle Radio AU. It's the same on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. You get it live there. Make sure you subscribe to us. Whatever podcast platform you're on, you can subscribe to Wrestle Radio Australia for free, whether that's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, wherever you are. If you're on Apple Podcasts, if you could give us a review, a 5-star rating and a review, that'd be really helpful in getting us into more ears as well. You can do it here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia, where if you hit the follow button, you get notified whenever we go live on Thursday nights here for Making Chicken Salad. You can hit subscribe to really support what we're doing. If you want some merch, you can also go to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia. The proceeds don't go to us. They go to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life, 2 awesome charities that support men's mental health specifically here in Australia. And if you're looking for merch, Kickout merch is a great place to go. Kickout.com.au. They've got your favorite Queensland wrestlers as well as wrestlers from all around the country. And if you're a wrestler who wants your merch up there, send them a DM through Instagram and you'll be able to potentially get some stuff up there. As well as, I just want to say, if you are coming to PWL this Saturday, please come and say hi to me, because I know that, we've got people like Alex Fireheart, who we love in the chat, who I have to say very stern words to. Why didn't you come say hello at the Super Show, Alex? Very disappointed. Naughty. So, it's please, we are all here to support what's going on in Aussie wrestling. We want you guys to be seeing Aussie wrestling shows and loving it as much as we do. Jeff, is there anything else you want to add before the end of the show?
Just want to mention tickets for our Melbourne run are on sale. We've got some fantastic talent to announce for that one soon. But again, if you're in Adelaide, come to the shows, hang out after the show and say hi. I'm usually a little bit busy immediately afterwards, so give me 10, 15 minutes and we'll be right with you.
And also, just make sure you're following at @Wrestle_Brainia so you can see, the video that Hayter put up announcing that Matt Hayter was going to be on the show. Absolutely get amongst that stuff. Todd?
And also, for Matt's video, have a look at who he dedicates his win to.
Yeah. Todd?
It's pretty fun.
It's not Todd.
No, it's not me. If you're going to shows this weekend and you just want to kill some time, all the interviews from that Jeff did with various members of the Mayhem Pro roster will be up on our YouTube over the weekend. It'll probably be up in some way, shape, or form in our podcast as well. I'll cut them together and I'll put them up as well, as a podcast sort of version as well. Also for the Pro Wrestling League Super Show, the link for the show, as always, is going to be in the description of the podcast. So if you do want to go and watch the show, head to the podcast. There will be a link in the description. You can go watch it straight from there.
Or head to YouTube and search for Wrestle Radio. Head to YouTube, search for Pro Wrestling League. You'll be able to find it.
Yeah,
I cannot recommend any more that people listen to 3 of those interviews. Definitely that of Erica Reed, Jab, and JXT. Those 3 interviews were just fascinating. Jab and Erica really, really get their feud, and I put you over, Lachlan, so you can send me some cash.
Yeah, will do. Well, with that said, on behalf of Jeff Setti and Todd Eastman, I have been Lachlan Albert, and this has been Making Chicken Salad. Till next time, have a good one.
Too many Lachlans.
4 Lachlans.
WrestleBrainia will debut for the 2025 Adelaide Fringe Festival at Arthur's Art Bar, and we are extra excited to announce that we'll be partnering with Riot City Wrestling. We've got 4 big shows, 4 different lineups with comedians from the festival and wrestlers from Riot City. On Friday the 14th, we have Grim Basso versus Mickey Fortune. Saturday the 15th, Dean Brady takes on a surprise opponent. On Sunday the 16th of March, we have Mr. Cliff versus Banjo Powers. And on Monday the 17th of March, our final show, Richard Guda will take on Down Under. WrestleBrainia for the 2025 Adelaide Fringe Festival at Arthur's Art Bar. What are you doing already? Get your ass there, buddy!